Okay then, so now I'd like to show you how to use dynamic classes, and by that I mean conditionally give elements certain classes based on a certain condition. So for example, for each book that we output, we might want to conditionally give this a class based on the value of something in each book. Now to demonstrate this, I'm going to add another property to each book called isFav, and that stands for isFavorite, and it's going to be a boolean, either true or false. So we'll say true for the first one, and I'm going to copy this and paste it a couple of times. We'll say false for the second one, and then for the third one, we'll say true. Okay, so now we have this isFav property on each one. Is it a favorite book? So what I could do is evaluate that property each time we cycle through a book and conditionally apply a class to this li tag based on that value. If that value is true, I might want to style the li tag a little bit differently. So what I'm going to do is now use some data binding. So we use the colon or v-bind, remember, and then a colon, and we're binding to the class attribute. Now what I want to do is just use the shortcut instead of vbind, and that's what I'll be using going forward, by the way. And then inside here we can pass in an object. Now this object is going to contain key value pairs, and for each key value pair it will be evaluated. The key will be the conditional class that we apply. So I might want this to have a class called fav, and then that will only apply based on the value of that key. If the value evaluates to true, then we'll have this class on the li tag. If it evaluates to false, then we won't have that class. So I'm going to reference the book, which we have right here, and then use the isFav property from that book. So that's going to be true for the first one, it's going to be false for the second one, and true for the third one. So the first and the third should have this fav class. So if I save that now and preview over here and inspect these, we can see that the first one has a class of fav, the second one doesn't because it's not a fav, it was false, but the third one does. So now we could style these a little bit differently. So what I'm going to do is add some styles to the whole page right here. I'm going to come up to the top. We don't need this box style anymore, that was from a few lessons back, and instead what I'm going to do is just paste in a few different styles at a time, because I don't want you to watch me write these out. It's not a CSS course. So the body, we just give a background of a light grey, a max width of 960 pixels, a margin of 20 pixels top and bottom, auto left and right, meaning this 960 pixel column will sit in the middle. The next thing I want to do is strip out the margin and padding from the paragraph, H3 and UL, so we reset those. Then I want to style the li tags, so let me paste this in. And each li tag is going to have a list style type of none, meaning those little things right here disappear, those little circles. Then we give each one a background of white, margin 20 pixels top and bottom, auto left and right, a bit of padding, a bit of border radius to soften the corners. We display each one as flex, and that means that automatically each of these will sit next to each other inside the li tag. And then we align items to the center. That means that all of the items vertically sit in the middle. And then finally we say justify content space between, and that means in the horizontal direction we have equal space between each item. These things right here are used in conjunction with display flex. Now if you do want to learn more about display flex, I've got a whole free course on my YouTube channel about Flexbox, so I'll leave the link attached to this lesson. But anyway, now we've applied those styles, let's take a look at what it looks like. Okay, so this looks a bit better, right? And now I want to style the ones with the fav class a little bit differently. So I could say down here li.fav, and then inside here I'm going to say we want the background this time to be a different hex color, and that will be FF9E and then D2, and that's kind of a pink color. So I also want the color of the text to be white, like so. So now if we have that fav class, it's colored differently, and we can see at a glance which ones are favorites and which ones aren't.